Hey everyone, we are in our final episode of the CDD Implementation Roadmap. I got Nick Guest here, Director of Risk, and we're having a conversation about the roadmap. We have been through every single project that we recommend you consider here, and we're at the bottom one here. You don't have to deal with paper because we have this digitally. It's online. It's got every one of the projects has content embedded in a link that's housed there for every single project. And we're talking about OFAC policy and screening. So before every one of these videos, Nick and I have a conversation about when we built out the roadmap. We built out each of the concepts, but we freshen up the concept before we shoot each of these and provide it to you. And so when we were talking through this, we said, this is probably, given us the last one, would be a great opportunity for Nick to give his thoughts on this. So we're talking about, again, OFAC policy and screening. So Nick, when we're talking about that, what should a bank, what should they think about? Because it's probably not something they've thought about within the context of CDD.
Correct.
Maybe separately, but not within the context of CDD. So as they explained this, and I keep explaining this because you're really communicating this to the rest of your organization, explaining this to your CEO and your board of directors, but then pushing it deep into the organization through procedures. This is really more of a procedural thing.
It is. It's going to have to start at the policy standpoint from just an overall OFAC policy or a BSA policy. But what a lot of people are not understanding is just collecting the beneficial ownership information, especially on the certification form, is not going to be enough. You are having to run all beneficial owners against OFAC every night, just like your regular scrubs. I understand a lot of smaller banks still do that manually. A lot of larger banks have that automated. Either way, that beneficial ownership information that you collect for the new CDD rule is going to have to go into whatever core system or OFAC system that's running these scrubs. Worst thing, and I know you all out there can appreciate this, would be you run a transaction for somebody or a company that you end up finding out the beneficial owner you had on file on a sheet of paper that so-and-so had signed, but you didn't realize they were on the OFAC list. And we all know that OFAC always wins. So again, this needs to feed your systems. It doesn't need to just sit within policy. It needs to go all the way deep into procedure and your systems to run every single night against OFAC.
So as we think through that, because we've had content around, does your CIO know? Okay. This is certainly information that your CIO needs to be involved in as part of the conversation, because for those of you who are not doing this manually, it's going to go in a system. So you have to house that information somewhere. That's a field somewhere in your core system. Your core provider should provide you with that. But you need to determine or verify that the beneficial owner information that you put in is automated, run against a scrub.
Yes.
If it's not, it's your responsibility. So it's something additional thing to consider as you capture that information. You have to go through that checklist of items and OFAC's screening and scrubs. Certainly one of them. Now, for a manual, you're really talking about an Excel spreadsheet where you go through and you have to remember to go through the scrub?
Yeah, and really manually, I know it's hard to think about, but we've worked with a lot of banks under 500 million that still do manual OFAC scrubs. So they may not for their entire customer base, but they may for other people like their owners or their signers. So this will go into that effect. So you would have to manually enter those people's names in every single night into either OFAC's website or whatever tool you have that you can do that on.
Obviously a pretty exhaustive exercise, something you may want to consider as you try to make this process repeatable as it goes into after the May 11th deadline for implementation. So hopefully you found this helpful. We are, as I mentioned before, we're going to do a webinar. The webinar we will be announcing soon. And the webinar is going to be a full-scale, probably 45 minutes or an hour of just walking through how to work through the implementation roadmap. It's really a great tool for you to lay out to your CEO, your COO, your CIO, all the parties that need to be involved, including your board of directors, of, hey, here's sort of the level of effort that we're looking at. We also have a white paper and some additional content for you to help communicate this message. So hopefully you have found this roadmap very beneficial to your organization. If you have any questions, always reach out to me, reach out to Nick, and you can also send us a question. Submit your questions to us. We've got it online at AutoAML, and anytime you do that, we will get back to you and respond very quickly. So thanks for watching, and more to come soon.
Thank you.